A box office bomb refers to a movie that is unsuccessful or unprofitable during its theatrical run. Before getting to my top 10 biggest movie bombs of all time, make sure you like and subscribe if you want more content like this. The first Wonder Woman movie was a smashing success, but unfortunately the sequel, Wonder Woman 1984, was far from a success. This movie was released in 2020 when many theaters were closed, so many people did not go to the theaters to see it, but a couple other strikes it had against it was many people felt that the story and the villain were very underdeveloped and very weak. Wonder Woman 1984 ended up losing $100 million at the box office. Because of the failure of this movie, it is very unlikely that Wonder Woman 3 will ever be made. Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas, was one of the last movies to utilize 2D animation, but even with a stellar cast with Brad Pitt, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Catherine Zeta-Jones, this movie still ended up losing $125 million. This movie almost bankrupted DreamWorks, so they decided to set aside traditional animation and go towards 3D animation. Disney's live-action adaptation of Mulan ended up losing $141 million at the box office. This happened for a couple reasons. First reason was it was released in 2020 during the pandemic, but the bigger reason is the controversy surrounding the filming location. This movie was filmed in Xinjiang, which was a Chinese internment camp. Many people found that to be quite offensive and controversial, and that's one of the biggest reasons why this movie failed. Another big reason this movie failed was it took out all the things that people loved from the animated movie. Mars Needs Moms is not a well-known Disney movie for a particular reason. This movie ended up losing $144 million at the box office. Most people agree the reason why it lost that much money was because of its use of motion capture technology, which most people found unsettling. There have been many movies made about Peter Pan and Neverland, but this movie had no magic in it whatsoever. Pan ended up losing $150 million at the box office. Most critics agree that the reason why this movie failed was because of two reasons. One, there was not enough star power in this movie, even though Hugh Jackman was in it, and it was also a prequel that nobody asked for. Disney's A Wrinkle in Time, which was adapted from the 1962 book of the same name, ended up being a very underwhelming box office performance, losing $150 million at the box office. There are a few reasons why this movie underperformed at the box office. Some say it was the negative reviews that kept the audiences away, others say that the script prioritized style over substance, and others blame the marketing and the difficulty with fantasy films. There have been many movies about the legend of King Arthur, but unfortunately this movie was a dismal failure. It ended up losing $153 million at the box office. A few reasons for its underperformance was the film was in development for 6 years and went through several director changes and recastings. And a big reason is the number of films based on King Arthur has decreased in recent years. Disney's The Lone Ranger may look like it's full of action and comedy, but this movie ended up being one of the biggest box office bombs of all time. It ended up losing an estimated $190 million at the box office. The biggest reason for its complete failure was it was far too expensive. The film's production was difficult and the shoot was halted for months due to budget concerns. Strange World was the biggest box office bomb ever for a Disney animated film. This movie ended up losing $197 million at the box office. One of the biggest reasons for this tremendous loss was the film didn't generate much interest before its release, poor marketing, and the film's agenda-driven nature. This movie was banned in over 15 countries due to its LGBTQ references. Coming in at number 1 is Disney's John Carter. This movie lost a whopping $200 million at the box office. By most accounts, most people really enjoyed this movie and found it to be very entertaining. But the reason for its failure was mainly the decisions made in marketing the movie. A new studio executive team with minimal experience was in charge and not as emotionally invested in its success as the filmmakers had been. I hope you liked this video and learned something new. Remember to leave me a like and subscribe if you want more content like this. See you next time.